You know that feeling when you lose your wallet, your keys, or even your phone? That sinking feeling in your gut? Well, we've all been there. Well, there's another thing you can lose that causes the same horrible feeling: your data. And yes, this can happen even if you back up your data to a local attached network storage system, or a NAS as people call it. In this video, I'm gonna help you ensure that this does not happen. So, what exactly is a NAS? Think of it as your own personal cloud server that sits in your home. It's great for storing tons of data and accessing it from any device on your network, but here's the thing, just because it's backing up, well, it doesn't mean it's fail-safe. Fire, floods, theft, your NAS is just as vulnerable as any other hardware. This is where cloud backup comes in, and today I'm going to walk you through the best cloud backup solutions for your NAS. I've personally tested each of these services, and trust me, they're all going to help you keep your data safe. And also trust me, RAID is not backup, so you definitely need another backup system for these goodies here. I here have two systems in my office plus a cloud backup system for my NAS. So one NAS mirrors to the other NAS, and then I also keep another copy of the data in the cloud, and this hopefully keeps me protected. And in this video, we're specifically going to talk about cloud storage options, not so much about NAS to NAS transfer. So if you're already using a cloud storage service and don't want to sign up for a new service, stick around until the end, because I'm also going to share a cool workaround with you. I'll also cover some important considerations you need to make before committing to a service. So keep watching. And by the way, if you do use a NAS service, you subscribe to the contest of backing up your data. But did you know that almost 98% of our viewers are not subscribers to this channel? Please subscribe. It helps the channel grow and get my eyes on our content. So my top pick is iDrive. It's fast, it's secure, and affordable, which makes it really hard to beat. I'll point out that iDrive has several products, and it can be a little bit confusing to know which one you need. If you're backing up your NAS, then you need to use their S3 compatible object storage instead of the traditional iDrive backup service. It's called iDrive E2. And don't worry, iDrive E2 is just as affordable as its standard backup service, and it has 10 storage options available. They range from 1 terabyte right through 200 terabyte of backup space. One feature I particularly love about iDrive is its hybrid storage system. The hybrid system lets me access files on my local network and through the cloud as well. It has saved me multiple times when I needed to access files while traveling. Imagine being like halfway across the world and realizing you forgot an important document. Well, with iDrive, you can just grab it from your backup in literally seconds. I ran some speed tests with iDrive E2 to see how quickly I could back up my data, and here's some raw data for you. I backed up 5 gigabytes of files using the E2 service, and uploads took around 8 minutes on average. Downloading the files was closer to 7 minutes, which is, it's pretty good in the grand scheme of cloud storage services. Best of all, iDrive supports many of the most popular NAS device providers directly through a web browser, including Synology, QNAP, this goodie here, and Netgear and Asystore. And you can also use iDrive's desktop interface to connect your NAS device to your backup set. Next up is Backblaze B2, which might be the best option if you're backing up massive amounts of data. It has a pay-as-you-go model, and it charges an affordable fee per terabyte per month, and doing it this way makes it one of the cheapest solutions out there. And best of all, Backblaze B2 does not limit how much data you back up. It truly is unlimited, which is great for heavy users, but if you use Backblaze B2, you have to count the terabytes, obviously. So it doesn't limit the terabytes that you can back up, but it's not like the consumer version of Backblaze Online Backup, where you pay a standard monthly fee, $9 a month, And you can back up an unlimited amount of data on one computer. Now, B2 is different, it's metered, so every gigabyte, every terabyte counts towards your bill, essentially. So yes, if you back up 10 or 20 terabyte, it will cost you around $100, $200 a month, probably. Something around the lines of that, but there are calculators that you can use to really gauge which one, how much amount of money you will end up spending depending on how many terabyte you upload. Let's say you have a lot of data to upload and doing it over a network could literally take days. Well, with Backblaze B2's Fireball service, you can upload large data sets quickly, and Backblaze will send you a 96 terabyte storage device in the mail and simply add all your data and send it back. Backblaze will upload it to your B2 account. And this is especially good for those in rural areas where internet speeds might not be the quickest, and uploading 50 terabytes of data, well, will take a lifetime. Sticking with the topic of speed, B2 isn't winning any races. My upload took an average of 19 minutes and downloads were much better though, taking around 7 minutes. It was the same 5 gigabytes folder on the same connection I used for iDrive, so Backblaze has some speeding up to do in the uploads department. Another aspect of Backblaze that I like is the built-in security. It has server-side encryption that uses AES 256-bit encryption to protect your data at rest. You can use a personal encryption key that will block unauthorized users from accessing your content and your account. You'll need to set this up manually, which is a little bit cumbersome, if I'm honest, and also not the best for those new to using this type of service, but it is an effective way to help protect your account and obviously your sensitive data on these devices. Now, Mega is another cloud service that I like. It has zero-knowledge encryption, meaning that only you can access your data. In fact, if you lose your password or otherwise can't get into your account, Mega won't be able to help you since even they cannot gain access to your data. It's a good idea to use a password manager because without a password or recovery key, you're gonna need to start a new account and start uploading your data all over again, and you won't be able to get your data back in case of a failure. As with the other cloud services in this review, Mega offers good value for the cost, even if it is a bit more expensive than most. You can choose from several plans, and the storage options are pretty diverse. There are business plans too if you need backup for your company and have multiple users accessing the account, sharing data, having different backup sets and the like. And here's some speed data for you. Mega does very well. Uploads took around 7.5 minutes and downloads slightly over 8 minutes. I was able to do other things on my computer at the same time and speeds remain pretty consistent, and my computer's performance was nice and smooth, so no effects there. Here is the catch though with Mega. First, you'll need to use the Mega command packages for use with command line tools because there's no native NAS support with Mega. If you're not familiar with command line interface, this is called the terminal on a Mac and command prompt on a PC. PCs also use a program called PowerShell. Now, working with a command line can be tricky for the less techie among us, and in fact, I would not recommend it if you're not feeling comfortable with this. Fortunately, Mega walks you through the process with a dedicated help guide. Now, the other catch, Mega currently only supports NAS devices from Synology and, well, QNAP. So if you're not using a NAS device from one of those providers, Mega may not be the best option. Hence, it's here on number 3, essentially. So let's say you don't want to use any of the services I've talked about. You're happy with pCloud or other services and still want to back up your NAS. Well, there is a way to work around this limitation, and that's by using a cloud storage management tool. A good example is MultCloud. Sure, it also requires a subscription, but it's affordable and you don't need to switch cloud services. By the way, you can try it for free and see if it works for your needs. Now with MultCloud, you can connect to your other cloud accounts and move data between them. So you could take some or all of your data from your OneDrive account and move it to your Google Drive account. The same works with a NAS device. You can select pCloud and then the NAS icon in your MultCloud account and set up a transfer between the two. This effectively lets you use your pCloud account to back up your NAS, which is cool because you can't do this if you wanted to back up your NAS directly through pCloud. MultCloud does not limit which NAS device you use either. However, it does not have every cloud storage provider available. The good news is many of the most popular ones are in the option panel, so I recommend you try the service for free. Make sure it supports your cloud storage provider of choice. Plus, it lets you test to make sure you can move data between the cloud and your network attached storage device. Let's talk about a few crucial features you need to consider when choosing your backup solution. First, transfer speeds. Your initial backup could take days or even weeks, depending on your internet connection and the amount of data you want to back up. So this pretty beauty here stores about 50 terabytes of data, depending on what kind of hard drives I put in there. So that's quite the data. I'm a video creator, I'm a producer, so obviously my files are pretty big and the terabytes get eaten up pretty darn fast. So if you are working in the video field or raw photos or anything and you have high requirements, a NAS is a critical piece of hardware. But make no mistake that the terabytes add up quickly and it will take a while to do your initial backup. I strongly recommend doing a test backup of a small folder first to get a real world idea of your transfer speeds, so you know more or less how long it's going to take you for the whole batch. Next up, you need to think about encryption. While all these services offer encryption, the implementation varies. iDrive and Mega offer zero knowledge encryption, right? So it's by default. While with Backblaze B2, as I said, you'll need to set it up manually to have zero knowledge encryption. Finally, you have to look at cost scaling. This is crucial if you're backing up large amounts of data. While iDrive might seem reasonable at first, the cost can spiral quickly with larger data sets. And this is where services like Backblaze B2 maybe outperforms iDrive because it has really cheap data storage in general. It's really cheap to both upload and retrieve your data. So that's something to consider. It's much cheaper than services like Amazon S3, which is notoriously expensive. There are other services out there that compare to Backblaze B2. There's something called Wasabi, which is also quite affordable, and Wasabi also integrates with some of the NAS storage providers. They have an integrated software, just as Backblaze B2 has. So you have some options there, but you have to do the per gigabyte or per terabyte calculations to see which one works best for you. Most of them have a calculator on their website, so you can basically check out in advance which gives you the best bang for your buck. But just so you know, there is no such thing as unlimited backup with NAS devices, because the reason is simple. Providers cannot control essentially how much you will back up with NAS devices. In theory, you could have a NAS device that stores a petabyte of data, and that will be really expensive if someone were to provide you a flat fee for a petabyte of data without any restrictions or limitations. So before we wrap up, we need to spend some time talking about one of the most important aspects of the backup process, restoring data. I've seen too many people realize this too late, that they can't actually restore their files when needed. Now, the best cloud storage service in the world are useless if you cannot restore the data you backed up from your NAS device. Should the worst case scenario happen, I cannot stress this enough. The restoration process can differ greatly between cloud service providers. Some are much cleaner and easier and cheaper and faster than others. My advice is to back up a small subset of your data to the cloud storage provider you want to use. Then try to restore it and see how that process works. Look at how easy or complex it is and the speed and completeness of the restoration. Open the actual files that you restore. See if there are any errors, because the worst scenario that can happen is you want to restore your pictures, your photographs, and you see that the data is scrambled or you cannot open the files for some reason. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button as it helps the video reach more viewers. Also, let me know in the comments which backup service you're using for your NAS. Are you using a NAS? Are you considering using a NAS? Well, let me know in the comments below. As always, stay safe out there, and remember, your data is only as secure as your last backup. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.